Don't you feel like a hypocrite?
What do you mean?
I mean, acting all pious one minute, then sneaking around the next.
I don't understand.
Well, you don't see me rummaging through your room when you're gone. I respect your privacy.
You're right, Nikki. I'm sorry. Dr. Carroll said something that worried me, that's all.
So instead of just talking to me about whatever, you searched my room.
Yes, because I love you.
Yeah, right.
Welcome back to Boys Bible Study. On the Mic Dimly. Subtitle of our show. We're back. We have a very special episode with a very special guest who we'll introduce in a moment. We brought her here today to watch a movie by one of our favorite directors who we haven't looked at in a while. So if you've been a long-time listener of the show, you might be excited to hear our coverage of In the Mirror Dimly. But as always, I am Ash, here with my co-hosts,
Scott
and Julian.
Our special guest today, in town from Vancouver, Canada, a filmmaker most recently known for her film Castration Movie Part 1. This is Louise Weard. Welcome.
Hey, I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy to be a boy for a night.
Yes.
It's really nice, actually.
How the other half lives.
I've been saying that it's like the year for detransition, year for boy moding. I boy moded at my screening here in LA.
Did you?
Yeah, 100%. It's year of the boy moder. So it's perfect to be on a boys podcast.
And
for
here
boys.
you are on Boy Motors Bible Study, the only Sunday school exclusively for detransitioners and boy motors. Welcome. You're in town promoting Castration Movie Part 1. It just screened to 2 sold-out nights at Whammy Analog.
Ooh.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I guess the first thing I want to ask, so you're currently celebrating the success of your next project.
Yeah, I mean, we just did a Kickstarter to do Part 2, which was like kind of the most surprising thing in the world, that I can make a movie that's comprised mostly of me jerking off on camera and getting pissed on, and people are like, yeah, we gotta give her twice as much money to do that again. And then somehow we've had those sold out screenings, and then we were in New York in 2 weeks, and it's just like surreal to me that we made this like really weird, abrasive movie, and people actually want to see it.
Yeah, I like that. Well, first of all, I'll say about the film, I watched it myself this weekend, and I definitely could see some people being daunted by the length. It's longer than a lot of features. It is 4.5 hours long. That does not daunt me. However, when I click play on that, I am wondering, am I going to be like excited to get to the finish line, or am I going to be like grinning and bearing it or whatever? But I just thought the movie was actually like, it was abrasive, sure, but it was also like really pop and really fun and watchable. You know?
It's funny.
So I think it's really funny. Like I think that's a credit to like your performance as the lead of the film, and also like the actors in your film are amazing. Like there's so many good performances.
Thank you. Like I'm just so happy we were able to like bring so much sympathy to like an incel. Like the first half of the movie is about the world's biggest incel. He's such an incel that even having a girlfriend, he can't get laid. And it's like, that's the first 90 minutes. And it usually hooks people in to be like, oh, okay, I'll like watch a tranny for another 2 hours.
Yeah, no, that actor was great. I don't know his name.
His name's Noah Baker. He was just like my roommate at the time. And, it was like really fun to collaborate with him because he had like a little bit of a theater background, but hadn't really done much film acting. And we were able to like collaborate on building that character out. And it gave us so much room where like we were just shooting on weekends, and every time we went out, we could just like push that performance as far as we could go. It was always so much fun to build scenes like that scene where he's like interrogating the girl about her dead brother on the first date. It's like when you go into that room and you have like actors you can trust to like nail something that's like that sort of like hardcore in terms of like cringe comedy. Like you have to really trust your cast to like make that work, and being able to like sit in a theater watching it with people, like the degree of discomfort that everyone is experiencing together. It's like if I didn't have a cast that good, it just wouldn't work. You know?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But I think it came through. I thought that Noah was fantastic. One of my favorite performances.
Yeah, no, he's just incredible.
But there's many. Our friend Vera Drew, former guest of Boys Bible Study, is another one of my favorite performances in the film. She's just like funny as fuck in that.
Yeah, I'm so excited to get her back in part 2. Like she's playing the same character but in a totally different way. And I think people will be very pleased to see her back on screen.
That's awesome. Well, the thing though is that so we've actually wanted to have you on the show for a while, and you and I met recently through our mutual friend Ada Rook, another former guest of the show. And I came to Scott and I was like, "Oh, Scott, I've just been talking to this filmmaker. You probably know her because like you know a lot of like indie filmmakers. Like, have you heard of Louise Weard?" And he was like, "Yeah, I've literally been wanting to get her on the show since we started." Like, he was like, "Look at the original Google Doc of the show. It was like Louise's name is written there," which is true. But yeah, Scott has been up on your shit for a while. He knows about like the Computer Hearts.
That's crazy because that movie, nobody watched that movie. That's crazy to hear about.
There's one man who watches what nobody watches.
I'm a fan.
And it is him.
I have it on VHS. I have
That's
it on
crazy.
VHS.
That's super cool.
How did you find it at the time, Scott?
Maybe from like Strange Tapes zine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Would that have been he would have posted about that, right?
Yeah,
that
he did. And he also teamed up for that VHS release with Lunch Meat. So it was like kind of a perfect match to just like get that weird movie back out. Because we had screened it in Chicago right before we did that VHS release. And it was kind of like after almost 10 years, it was like the moment where people were like, whoa, like this weird cult movie that's kind of only really built an audience through word of mouth is suddenly like, you know, something that you could like play in a repertory theater and you'd get a crowd out to it. And it was like quite a surprise to me. Because like I never thought there would be like a point in my life where I'd like screen that in like a repertory cinema and like have people cheering and then anyone who hadn't seen it before like yelling at me in the lobby afterwards.
That's amazing. Also, on the end of that Lunch Meat VHS of it, there's that other short that was like a surprise to me. I'm blanking on the name of it. Hackstead Room. Hackstead Room.
Oh yeah, Hackstead Room. Yeah. So that one was a short I did with my old filmmaking partner Dion Copeland. We went to film school together, and that was like saying where like I wrote the story for it, and then she kind of like redid the script and directed it, and it's like us kind of doing like a riff on like late night Canadian like television, young adult television.
Sure.
But like kind of like making it more violent and queer and weird in this like odd way.
When was this that you made this?
That one's from like 2016.
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah,
So
and then Computer Hearts
crazy.
is like 2013. Yeah.
Because it honestly looks like Bible Man. It looks like you got the Bible Man production team to make it.
No,
which is incredible.
that's literally what we were going for. Like it definitely has like that, like especially with how we were doing like all of the effects like analog and camera and stuff like that. It was like really trying to push like that sort of aesthetic. It's like funny because like I've had a lot of people reach out being like, it's crazy that you like beat TV Glow by like 10 years. And I was like, yeah, no, our show within a show is like way more hardcore.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I saw the Bible glow.
I did want to mention too, though. I wanted to praise you, Louise, for in Castration Movie, daring to display a very cinematically marginalized and even maligned group of people, smokers. The smoking in it is great. Lots of good cigarette smoking in the movie.
Yeah, no, I think that like there's smoking in almost every scene of that film. But that's just because I'm a terrible chronic chain smoker. Like it was really funny. Another filmmaker, Alice Mayo McKay, she came out to be my assistant on a movie last year, and I was chain smoking to such an extent, like 4 packs a day, that like by the end of the production, she turned to me and was like, I will never smoke another cigarette. After just like watching you, like I like horrified her. Like she wasn't even smoking. She was just like watching me, was just like, I'm never touching that ever again. And she's like held firm on that.
You did like a Mondo movie. You Mondo movied her on cigarettes.
Let me die a smoker.
Yeah. There's that Twitter account that does the like cigarettes per minute averages of movies. I don't know if you saw that one, but I wonder what the ratio for Castration Movie would be, because there's obviously it's a higher degree of difficulty because there's so much runtime, but you probably have a pretty good average even so.
It like, because everyone's even smoking inside. Like that's the thing that's crazy about it. And whenever someone's not smoking inside, they're making jokes about how the decline of Western civilization is when they banned smoking indoors.
Yeah,
you can tell I really love cigarettes from my work.
Well, my next question is to be like, how do you feel about Los Angeles? Like, would you ever would you move here and become like an Erewhon, like green smoothie, morning yoga type of bitch? Or like,
no,
could you do it?
No, I wouldn't be like that. The thing is like when I tour around the film industry, I just like stand out front of any venue with like a box of Marlboro Reds and just like, the thing is I'm too bad of an influence to like move to LA, because like whenever I'm at film festivals, everyone like comes out and they're like, oh, Louise, can I bum a cigarette? It's like,
that's networking though. That's part of how it's done. Yeah, you're not doing it the Erewhon girl way. But,
like there was one director who came up to me. He was like 70 years old. He'd been on a health kick. He hadn't smoked a cigarette in 30 years. He walks up to me at this festival. He goes, Louise, can I bum a cigarette off you?
No.
Don't tell my wife.
Oh no.
Wow.
Well, Gwyneth Paltrow has one a week. That's her claim to fame, and so maybe there's like a balance to be struck here between like the the health kick and the chain smoking.
Yeah,
but
just need some goop.
Yeah, exactly. So we were thinking, celebrate female filmmakers.
Makes sense.
Let's get you. So we knew we wanted you on Boys Bible Study. There's so much to watch, and Scott selected the film to show you. I'm curious to know how he arrived at that conclusion. But like, I will say, Barbara Sundstrom, and we talked about her a little last night when you and I watched it together. But like, Barbara Sundstrom was one of our first favorite like sort of unsung Christian film directors when we started the show like 5 years ago. We just happened to start by watching a couple of her films, and like, other than the big names like Kevin Sorbo, the Kendrick brothers, she was one of the first like smaller time directors where I was like, wow, this person has like a distinctive voice and like, is really just doing it DIY, but with a big scope and like making something unique. So I'm glad you got to see.
It's like recharted the course of my life, because now I think it's my life's goal to start a film ministry.
Yes.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yes. The Louise Weard film ministry is coming.
Oh yeah. I can get a bunch of young boys around.
Yeah. Scott, what led you to choose In the Mirror Dimly?
I've been saving this one for a while because, as you're well aware, I'm a big fan of Barbara Sundstrom. And we've covered, like you said, we've covered a few other of her movies. And when we were doing that, I tried to buy whatever ones on DVD were available. And that was only 2. It was In the Mirror Dimly and Holly's Story, which is a harrowing tale of abortion. Pretty well done. We'll have to cover that one day too.
Yeah, can't do that. Can't have abortion.
See, I just assumed you just like clocked me as someone who definitely had bulimia.
Well, I will say I noticed watching Castration Movie for the first time this weekend, there are quite a lot of scenes of you specifically throwing up.
Yeah, no, it was because I was showing my ex-girlfriend Lucifer Valentine's vomit gore movies, and I was talking about how big of an inspiration they were on me. And then dropped the fact that I was like, and also I can like throw up on demand.
Aha.
And then we joked like, ooh, that's got to be part of this character. She's got to be fucking throwing up all the time. And then like it became a thing where I couldn't stop. And now I just have like a chronic puking problem.
Really? Oh my God.
So I just start like taking medication to stop throwing up all the time.
So this is a perfect
now that I'm starting
then.
to exactly, and now that I'm starting to film part 2, it's like I gotta go off the meds. Like I didn't bring them down with me to LA. So like before my screening, I'm just like, oh sorry, if you have to go like outside for a second. And I just like go throw up a whole bunch.
Oh my God.
So are you stressed? I'm like, no, I just do that now.
No, Scott, this is literally like an inspired choice.
Oh my God. No, honestly, I had been hanging on to it just for like, I was like, sometime we're going to have a good director on as a guest again. And I want to have like some good things ready to go. And so that's what I've been sitting on for that reason. And I don't know why I instinctively thought you would appreciate it, other than it's obviously a great movie.
Well, it's also crazy because like I when we put it on, I couldn't believe that the lead character Nicole packed the same way I did to come to LA, which is just filling my suitcase with candy.
It's like a half full of Tootsie Rolls, and the rest is like
God damn,
like sleeveless tops or whatever.
Yeah, no, like this bitch gets me.
Yeah. Yes. So this week we're watching a film called In the Mirror Dimly. As I already said, this is directed by Barbara Sundstrom. It is a part of her production company, Crosswind Productions. Crosswind
That's
Films.
right. Crosswinds.
Technically, she calls it a film ministry.
Her film ministry.
Yeah.
Yes. This is the thing with Barbara. My understanding, and probably Scott can explain it better, but like my understanding is that she felt called to do this, to do like youth education and outreach, by basically assembling a film production company where students can like write and perform and like get their ideas put to life. My clock of her is that she's doing it as like the claim is so she can minister to kids, but she like actually just really wants to make movies, and this is like all her. Like she's
so it's to get free crew.
That's my
you do it as like we're teaching these kids how to do movies, but it's actually just a free crew.
That's my bad faith read.
Because she was saying in that one interview how she's like, oh yeah, all the kids act in the movies, they work on the movies, then we have a couple film industry people. Right. Oh, this is this is a great grift. Like this is just teaching me how to do it even better.
Not uncommon in Christian film.
No,
right? No, it's that's a thing that we've noticed. Like for instance, some of the biggest budget Christian films. Take for example the Kendrick brothers, who are some of the highest grossing Christian directors. They made films like The War Room, Fireproof. These are for Christian the Christian space, the biggest budget and biggest performing films that there ever were. They have so much volunteer labor through church on their films. It's amazing.
This is genius.
Yes.
How have I never thought of this before?
I know, it's a really good
because like
idea.
my movies are basically Christian films.
Yes.
You think about it. Like I don't think you like if I have this movie I made wrap up with her like grabbing the cross and being like, Jesus, forgive me for all my homosexual sins.
Yep.
That's like the best scare film ever made.
Yes. Yes, like legit. I mean, there's many Christian films that we watch where they're clearly doing, it's almost like exploitation film style. Like they are sort of enjoying showing all the degenerate behavior because it's like, in service of the Christian message.
They 100% are just exploitation filmmakers. Yes. Like, I mean, when you look at the history of it, like look at like the Orman family's movies, they started as exploitation filmmakers and then were born again.
Yes.
And did they stop making exploitation films? No. It's just, it's now about how Christians are being persecuted.
It's fantastic.
Everybody thinks when you're born again, you have to like stop doing what you were doing before.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you keep doing it. You're just born again.
Yeah, you do it better this time.
Yeah.
No, it's true.
God's got your back.
I think I've got my next grift going here.
Yes.
I do know someone in town who can help me out with getting my head shaved this weekend. So
really? Yes. Oh, yes. Yes, we discussed this. Yeah, I think that's what's exciting about Castration Movie particularly, and I think why it has some parallels with the Christian movie space is that you're able to blur the lines between reality and fiction, not just through like the improv and the committed performances, but also like the filming style, which is, very reminiscent of like home movies or, just sort of like DIY camera techniques and stuff like that. And that's sometimes the case with the movies we watch on this podcast, where we're frequently like, do we need to call a wellness check on this person, or is this like, sense. Are they acting?
Although I did this one, like the thing about Barbara's, she has like such a degree of aesthetic guidance. Like God's definitely guiding her hand. She has like a transcendental style. Like we were commenting that if she dropped the camera 2 feet, this would just be an Ozu film.
Yes.
Because it's like every shot is like these like nice wides, and then when they go in the close-up, it's like that half turned towards the camera angle. Yes. And it's just like, I could imagine Satsuka Hara telling this girl not to throw up anymore.
Yeah. Barbara is really one of our most like marvelous directors. Let's remind our listeners of her other work, especially the stuff we've covered previously. Who wants to chat? The SABER.
Yeah, the SABER is the big one. We even screened that at one point. That is, of course, about a young Christian man who, when he leaves high school, goes off to military academy and gains a crippling addiction to porn.
Yes.
My life story.
It ruins his life and his relationship. He and his girlfriend, who was actually in this movie, I noticed, she played the receptionist at the doctor.
Yeah, she's the hospital receptionist. I remembered her. Very cute girl.
She looks like she's 12. Does she also look like she's 12 in the other one?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's played to great effect.
Is she 12? She looked like, because if it's the film ministry, like it could just be some kid, and it's like, oh yeah, no, we'll just put you in grown-up clothes.
It's possible.
Because if she's like a good like grip and training too, what are you gonna do? You got to use her.
Yeah. The lead, the male lead in the SABER also looks very young. Like, his voice has changed, but he kind of has like a prepubescent look to him, which makes it all the more dark when he's in the grip of his porno addiction. He meets the evil spirit of pornography, the woman of the night, and takes his girlfriend to a strip club and abandons her there, where she's like beaten and raped in the parking lot, and like goes to the hospital.
It's pretty intense.
This is really just like nailing the career pivot I have to make, because these are just my movies, but they make money.
No, for real. Yeah, I hope we can inspire like a born again Orman style turn in you, because like you're definitely capable of it.
Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah, we did the SABER. We watched some shorts of Barbara's too.
Yeah, yes. Last Chance School, I believe, was our first bonus episode.
Yes.
Who are you?
Some of you may believe that I am the first teacher you will ever have. Some may believe that I am the last teacher you will ever have. Today, I would just call myself your last chance.
Yeah, well, Mr. Chance, why don't you just make it easy on yourself and leave now?
Last Chance School. When we decided to do our own grift and start a Patreon, we said, let's watch Last Chance School. I feel like I have personally watched her film Foster Care.
I saw her mention that in the interview that I watched today.
Yeah, she brought up Foster Care. Did we watch that, right, Scott?
Yeah, we did. I don't remember if we actually covered that one or not, but we definitely watched it.
Is it pro or anti foster care? Because it sounded like it was like the mom is in the hospital with a drug addiction, so it's like, oh, we got to put the kid in, some good righteous Christian family,
right?
Is that what happens in it?
I remember it being pro.
Yeah. I'm sure it's not exactly anti. I mean, Barbara's very like.
What is the race of the child in foster care? Is really my question.
White,
probably black. Oh, really?
No, she was white.
Okay.
Yeah,
I forgot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Barbara, I see your game.
Yes. Yeah. She's doing a little. She's telling it like it is. That's all I'll say.
And then the other one we did cover was On the Edge, which is about the girl who's getting bullied at school, and they like make those printouts online.
Oh
And,
yeah.
Then she's
like a
she's
cow?
gonna jump off the
Yeah,
top
yeah.
of the school at the school dance.
I don't know how she got up there.
Hey, Jeannie, you gonna jump? Would you shut up? You can't hear me. See, watch this. Jump, 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 jump. Cut it out. Jump, all of you. Jump.
Honestly, that one kind of reminds me of Castration Movie. You should
Yeah,
watch
no,
that
that sounds
one.
like it's like I'm like, wait, am I this person? Wait,
It's like a short. It's like a concept short for Castration Movie.
That's
you
good.
You should watch it.
I'll just remake it for
Yeah.
Castration Movie 2.
Perfect.
It's like a short; it'll fit just fine.
That'd be so sick.
Wasn't there one where there was like a magical, like homeless black man with like striking blue eyes?
Yes,
Oh.
the Guardian.
Ah,
Wow, good memory. I literally don't even remember that.
That's a lost episode we did actually, because we recorded it and then something went wrong and we just never did it again.
Oh,
wow.
fuck. Yeah, this is early on. This is when we were like, still really finding our voice. But Barbara was there. We were always championing Barbara's work. And so let's get into In the Mirror Dimly. Because like this is another family film by Barbara, relates to a family dynamic, has a teenage protagonist, and you can tell she's trying to speak to the issues that might affect teenagers in a tumultuous world. And In the Mirror Dimly primarily is about eating disorders, bulimia, which, by the way, would be a beautiful name for a girl.
This movie opens insane because it opens at a carnival and it just like drops you in with no context. And we pointed out that they're clearly filming in a closed carnival because all the chairs are up on the tables. And then you just cut with no context. Like there's no spatial consideration in the editing of this film. You never know what room you're in at any time.
Yeah.
So it just cuts to you're in a hall of mirrors and just like people are laughing right into the lens. And we haven't even set up who our lead character is yet.
Right.
And then we find her in the Hall of Mirrors, and you're kind of expecting there to be like some creative shot composition to like tie in the title and the eating disorder thing. Like you'd think you'd use the mirror that makes you look fat, and you'd like film a shot of her, and that they don't do that at all. It's just like a totally unnecessary scene.
Yeah, it's a striking, visually like arresting and striking, but also like basically nonsense opening that doesn't return, isn't called back to.
It feels like something in the third act of Inland Empire. Like you're just like you wander into this space. Like I think you brought up Carnival of Souls or something.
Yeah, somebody did, maybe Woodrow, but I agree with that.
Yeah, and it's just like bizarre. And then we never visit any of this again. It's just very odd. I was almost like half expecting the end of the movie for her to like wake up back in the Hall of Mirrors.
Yeah, she like, oh, you got knocked out on the fucking thing where you hit the hammer on the bell, and you know, and you dreamt you had an eating disorder. No, it is. Yeah, it's like visual poetry. Sort of sets up the title.
I didn't even realize she had an eating disorder. I thought she went on one of those like gravitron things and was just still like motion sick the whole movie.
The whole movie.
Yeah.
And that's why she had to keep the puke Tupperware under her bed because it was just
She's
too,
riding the damn gravitron too much. That's why her mom's sleeping outside her room. It's like, I don't want you going back to that damn carnival.
Wait, Scott, what is In the Mirror Dimly? That phrase? I forgot to look it up.
Oh, I don't know.
I think it's a Bible verse. I really think it is.
Oh, that makes sense. Did they have mirrors in Bible times?
Yeah, they had mirrors.
Okay.
They had mirrors. They.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, well.
For now we see in a mirror dimly.
It is weird that they never say it in the movie.
No,
Yeah,
they never say
They didn't even have like a title card or anything. Which is
Like you
usually
really
how it goes.
expect them to say it during the scene at the end, which we'll get to, but they never take any of the opportunities to actually say the Bible verse.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1 Corinthians 13:12. For now we see in a mirror dimly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, then I shall know fully, even as I have been fully known. What the fuck does that mean? I know my Bible pretty well. I really don't know why she picked this verse.
Because it's what this movie's actually about, which is it's an anti-divorce movie.
Yeah. True. Like, yes.
All the people in the funhouse mirrors laughing at you because you don't know what 1 Corinthians 13:12 means.
Because you don't know which house you're staying at this summer. Oh, this letter to Corinthians is it's right after the famous verse, when I was a child, I spoke like a child, I thought like a child. When I became a man, I gave up my childish ways. Then it says, for now we see in a mirror dimly, but then face to face. I think
it's a coming of age thing.
Yes.
Okay.
I think it has to do with you grow in your understanding as you become older.
Yeah, like you're looking back at yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're a lesser reflection of who you once were.
I think that's it, and she's kind of using that cleverly, blending it with like a girl preoccupied with her own body, like looking in a mirror. But she only lets us. We're doing way more work to like put that on her. It's not actually reflected in the movie.
No,
at all.
It's not at all, because this movie is just about how if you have an eating disorder, that's how your parents are going to end up back together.
Yeah.
So in a way, this is a very pro eating disorder movie.
I would recommend if there's anyone out there who's missing a little attention in their life, why don't you develop, for instance, some kind of eating disorder?
You know, I'm just going to push back a bit. And I'm going to say it did not get my parents back together.
You didn't try hard enough.
I should have tried harder.
Yeah.
So,
were you eating
childhood
enough candy?
Wait.
Oh, yeah. Way too much candy.
Childhood divorce?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Do you think I could make the work I do if my parents aren't like super
No,
fucking
probably
divorced?
not, probably not. Childhood divorce.
Yeah. Later, I was in college though, so it doesn't really count.
Yeah, it doesn't count at all.
Yeah.
You fucking faker.
Well, I was just a child of parents who hated each other for like 19 years.
As they should.
Yeah.
I not a child of divorce. You can tell my innocent facial expression and my my sense of trust.
Merely the fact that you got snacks and cleaned up the place for guests to come over.
Yeah, that shows
your married parents' privilege.
Julian coined the phrase cloth mother privilege to describe me. It's when you are a rhesus monkey and you were raised with the cloth mother and you have cloth mother privilege. That's what I have, because I had a pretty happy family dynamic growing up. Scott, obviously,
you're still gay.
So really no one really
know.
knows how that happened. Listen, I was, and no offense to anyone who was not molested, parents were together, grew up Christian, still ended up gay.
Where did it go wrong?
I don't know.
The last time I hung out with my dad, he looked at me and he said, "You know, I worked so hard not to molest you, and you still turned out like this."
That's a really good line, actually.
And I was like, trying to unpack, like, wait, what is like specifically me? Like, were you like, I need some more details here, Dad.
Oh my God.
You know, one time I was at the bus stop and the only other person waiting there was this like older Armenian woman who like spoke like decent English, but kind of broken English. And she asked me for directions and I like gave her very thorough directions. And she was like, "Thank you." And then like she paused and she looked at me and she was like, "Are you gay?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "My son is gay." She's like, "It's because of the hormonal birth control." And I was like, "Oh, okay." You know, maybe. Yeah. So maybe it was that. I don't know.
No. For me, it was all the molestation.
It
for
was
sure.
the molestation.
Yeah. Just not my dad.
No, he obviously
he was
putting
very
in the
careful
work.
not to.
Yeah, he was putting in the work. Scott, you were obviously not a child of divorce because your parents were way too Christian to do that.
Right. Yeah. Not an option.
No.
Not an option.
Yeah.
No.
So back to the movie, I am curious though. Is the implication that the parents are divorced or just separated? Because the dad is very adamant. He's like, "I will not give you a divorce."
That's right. I assumed divorce, but they don't explicitly say.
Well, then at the end, it's like me and your mom are working on things.
Right.
So it's like, okay.
But maybe it just means that like they would, just do counseling and maybe get back together. I assumed them to be divorced though, right?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I thought he explicitly said it at the end, but I might just be I might have not
Well,
been
in the
paying
letter-
the closest attention to the movie.
Does he say, because at the end when he's consoling the daughter, does he say the divorce wasn't your fault or me and your mom splitting up wasn't your fault?
Oh,
'Cause
that might be where
I couldn't figure out which one it was.
That's a good
lost to
point.
time.
I don't know if he actually says the word, but I just took it for granted.
Is
I
it like
just
too
assumed.
anti-Christian to even say the word divorce?
Dear Nikki, you've been gone a week and I miss you already. Hope you and Mom are doing okay. Nikki, it's not your fault Mom and I got a divorce. It was nothing you said or did. Sometimes things just happen. Don't forget that I love you forever. Dad.
Perhaps in this movie, I mean, I guess it would like erase a lot of the hope that her getting over her eating disorder would get her family back together.
Right.
Which seems to be the message of the movie.
Right. Yeah, like maybe leaving that possibility open that it wasn't actually a legal divorce means that there's
right.
a little
like they
more
just
possibility.
separated indefinitely. It's hard to say. It helps to know what the specific sect of Christianity is. Because like if it's the Jehovah's Witnesses, you're like, that's the last thing you do. That's
right.
You
Death
know.
before divorce.
Right.
I think that Barbara is Protestant. I don't think she's Catholic. I doubt she's Jehovah's Witness. I would assume I don't know exactly what denomination she is. I would say maybe like evangelical or non-denominational. Like, what do you think?
I think that's
Scott?
a good guess. I think that's a good guess.
I think it has to be evangelical because like the degree of like calling it the film ministry and like really pushing it on the kids, like that seems like a very evangelical sort of system to be in.
Alternative business plans.
Yeah,
that are.
I could see a
also,
male
quote-unquote
Catholic
ministries.
director doing that. Like a male Catholic director would maybe want to get around to a bunch of young kids to help out on a movie.
Sure.
Yeah, so that's for his private collection. That's not for ministry.
Yeah, I definitely think she's Protestant. And I mean, she's not a prude in the sense that like she will talk about bulimia. She will talk about like porn or suicide or like dark topics.
Well, what I'm curious about is how explicit does she like show like obviously not like hardcore stuff in the porn movie, but like here one of the first things we see is like this girl dumping out a puke bucket, and it's one of like the grossest things I've ever seen in a movie.
I felt that way too. I was interested to hear your take on it because I found it so disturbing to see puke in a Tupperware container being like dumped out, and like liquid red bile was so much worse than like seeing somebody get their intestines ripped out on camera or something.
Yeah. Surprisingly visceral.
Yeah, was it just like the whiplash of the very soft Texas suburban interior and then just like the cut to this murky brown liquid in the Tupperware? It might have just been that.
To me, it's the idea that it was sitting there a while.
Yeah,
because like if you have
too.
kids or something, like you're gonna have a kid throw up in a bowl or something.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna deal with vomit if you have like kids. But like the fact that she saved it, like saving vomit, is a grotesque idea.
Have you ever seen that picture of the little kid crying because his parents found the drawer that he had been pissing in for like months?
Oh my God, no.
And he's like 5 years old, and I'm just like, man, Scott, you got to tell us if anything like that happens in your life, because I need to know how common this is as I get older.
Scott has a young daughter.
Have to face life
really
decisions.
My mom said that I would piss behind the couch when I was like 3 years old. I would,
Well,
like,
at least
sleep
it
behind
like
the couch
soak
and
into
pee
the
there.
carpet or rug, right?
I don't think it. I'd have to ask my mom.
Oh yeah.
Just always been a disappointment to her.
Well,
You could have been pissing in a drawer.
Couldn't even
Like a
piss in the
normal
right
kid.
spot.
Yeah. Well,
Man, how did they not find that for so long? Him pissing in a
yes.
drawer.
probably smelled horrible.
Well, the same as the mom in this, like she's just barely reaching where she has to find the puke container. Like,
Right.
Oof. I mean, you don't want to find it
the
if
other
you go looking for it.
well, and the other crazy thing is the movie kind of assumes we know what the container is before we figure out what the container is.
Yeah,
because
I
there's
know.
tension around. Oh, is the mom gonna find this thing? But we didn't see her throw up in it. Like, do you think there's like an extended cut of this movie? Like, I need like the more puke edit.
Yeah,
Maybe.
we need the
I need the vomit porn.
the hour and a half, the hour and a half cut of In the Mirror Dimly with way more puke scenes. Well, actually, just like from a directorial perspective, the scene in the beginning with like her bedroom and like her and her mom like finding the stuff and whatever, that was by far the most spatially confusing scene. Like, you already pointed out that the film like had its spatial issues. That was crazy. It was like people would close doors and then like emerge of a different angle, and then it would cut to a different person closing a different door.
The thing about the scene is that the lead character, Nicole, not Nikki, it's Nicole, shows up with her like friend from the carnival, who's just this like hideous girl. And they like walk in on the mom who's like found like the candy stash of Nicole's character, and Nicole's like, get out of my room, and the mom's like, send your friend home, and she's like, no, my friend's gonna stay right here and watch you yell at me. And it's just like, oh my god. And then it cuts to like the friend leaving, and then the mom like opening a door, but it looks like the mom's like coming back into the room, but it's a different room. It's surreal.
That's what bulimia is like. You never know whether you're coming or going.
Right. Yeah, your food never knows whether it's coming or going.
Never. That's how the food feels inside your body when you have bulimia.
This is we could convincingly compare Barbara Sundstrom to Ozu, except like the maestro Ozu would never make such a spatial mistake like
Never.
that. Like, he was way too autistic about that.
Spatial decision.
Sure.
Yes, I think that auteur bar. I mean, like Inland Empire came out the year before. I think she was getting some influences there.
Yeah,
she's thinking a little bit looser in terms of spatial cohesion with the editing.
Also shot on like a digital.
Yeah, they're both digital, and then also like the one thing she has up on David Lynch though is those goddamn dissolves, where within scenes you're using dissolves between shots for no discernible reason.
And she won. He'll never be able to do that now. He'll never be able to
never.
her.
He never figured that one out.
Barbara Sundstrom's still standing.
Yeah.
That's all we'll say. There's a scene in the Mirror Dimly where it flashes back and their parents are still together, and the mom is like filming Nicole riding a horse, and Louise was like, oh, I think that's the camera I filmed Castration Movie on. Like the handheld digital.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Wow.
I think it's like a slightly different version of the same camera.
That's
awesome. Not to get sidetracked, but I was wondering, what kind of camera did you shoot Castration Movie on?
I shot Castration Movie on a Sony TRV 330 digital high-8 camera.
Okay.
Awesome.
It was my childhood camera.
Wow.
My parents bought a home video camera in 2000. It's the exact camera I shot Castration Movie on. Wow. And because when I started filming that movie, I was like homeless and broke, living out of my car. I couldn't afford to buy new high-8 tapes, so I filmed over my childhood home video.
No fucking way.
Wow.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
That puts an aura on the film. That's remarkable.
Yeah. No, there's like an evil to it.
That's so remarkable.
It's like, it's Louise's first birthday, and I'm filming over it with me having like a girl piss in my mouth.
Yeah, that's so sick.
So cool.
Man,
that's really, really sick.
Incredible.
Well, yeah, it's like, this is a tip for young aspiring filmmakers out there. Buy a Sony TRP. Take your damn clothes off, delete your childhood memories, and express yourself.
No, it's great.
Yeah.
I think that all you need to succeed is take your clothes off.
Basically.
Yeah.
That, like in anything, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
it's easy mode.
Unfortunately, that doesn't really work in podcasting, which it's all about
gotta get the video.
Wait, no,
radio.
They must be able to tell we're all filming, like doing this naked, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's just like it's just house rules at my apartment. It's like you have to take your shoes off before you.
We should have a Patreon level where we just send a nude photo of us during every taping.
Wait, so
like no,
that would be sick.
Are you guys hinting at like no other guests have had to record this naked? Then
no.
No, they all do.
This is normal. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, radio is still the one medium where that's not a huge advantage. Although I will say, like, Howard Stern always did a really good job at kind of blending the two things. That's
You
why
can
he's
tell
such an
the
idol of
acoustics
mine.
are different when we have our clothes on.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah. In the Mirror Dimly, so Nicole, she is stressed about a lot of things in her life, including her parents' divorce, not feeling like she fits
Which
in
we're
at
not
school.
told about.
No, not exactly.
The movie assumes we have information about half an hour before it tells us the information. Like for every aspect.
I thought she was at her grandpa's house for half the movie.
Well, that's why Barbara's the GOAT, because she doesn't feel like she has to hold the audience's hand, you know?
Yeah.
She lets the narrative unfold. Like we see the mom hiding all these letters from Dusty Marsh, which I thought was a place.
Yeah, me too.
It turns out it was a man.
Quite a good character.
In fact,
name.
her father, yes. We meet Dusty Marsh. So after the bulimia is revealed, we can't really tell how much her mom knows. She definitely knows something is wrong.
Yeah, like she's like sleeping outside of her daughter's room so that she can't like leave to throw up. So the daughter, that's why she has her puke bucket and all of her hidden candy. There's an amazing scene where instead of going to bed, she decides to eat a bag of M&Ms. And she's like trying to keep it like covert so her mom doesn't find out. She hears her mom coming back in the room. So she quickly tries to like put the M&Ms back in the bag, but just like drops them everywhere. And like, I'm just like, bitch, like I thought you were pro at this. Like you've already got the puke bucket going, but you can't even like keep the M&Ms in your hand.
Yeah.
No wonder she got sent to live with her dad.
To be fair, though,
Throw
I
that
think
bitch on the street.
She was getting distracted by the boom mic poking into the shot for that.
Oh, I didn't clip that. That's funny.
It was coming in from the side.
Yeah, she kept trying to eat the boom mic. But so, you know, after having a difficult time with her mother, who seems like she's kind of at her wit's end, her mother sends her to live with her father for the summer. Her father's name is Dusty Marsh. He lives on a ranch in Texas, and it seems like, you know, this ranch is a bit of a drive away. It's pretty remote. You know, there's not a lot of neighbors close by. And clearly Nicole has lived there at one point.
Yeah, so the whole family once lived on the ranch, and the mom left because she was like, I don't like that my husband works on a ranch. And he's like, you knew I was a rancher when you married me. And she's like, yeah, but I didn't know it'd be this much work. And he's like, literally, that's what you signed up for. And she's like, I'm leaving you. And then they moved, like her and Nicole moved to the city. They've been estranged for a bit. And one of the important details is the dad has been sending letters year after year, which Nicole never opens. So she just hates her dad, like very estranged daughter from the dad. And she tries to pack all of her candy as the one thing she wants to bring with her to move in with her dad. And when she gets there, she unfortunately discovers that her mom removed all of the candy. And we were like, bitch, why are you packing all this candy? Like, there's got to be a CVS close by.
Right.
But no, like she has to like train a horse just in order to go get some damn candy.
She has to nurse a horse back to health in order to get a ride to the local Costco where she can load up with candy again.
And she spends like $60 on candy.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Her dad gave her that as the allowance for the horse over a week. And two, like, it didn't look like all she had was one Tupperware of Tootsie Rolls. Like, that's a lot. Like, is it just that expensive when you're that rural? It's like, oh yeah, no, that's like what one bag of Tootsie Rolls costs, $53.
Right. This is in 2007 as well. So you would think the money would go further.
Yeah, last night I joked like $55 in candy in 2007 is like $3,000 in candy now. Like, imagine.
Some kind of summer Halloween party?
Does everyone in this podunk town think that everything's their business?
Just trying to make conversation.
I'm in a hurry.
Okay. 5573.
So she's serious about this candy life. Like, she got a sweet tooth for real.
Well, she has to go to the dentist.
It's true. Yeah, her bulimia problems do not stop when she's at Dusty's. Dusty doesn't really know what's going on. It's probably not something he's thought about. Anorexia and bulimia. It's not that men can't suffer from them, but they're very like feminine coded disorders, and like I think it's like maybe the mom was a little more tapped into the idea of what was happening than the father.
But in denial, like she doesn't tell the dad anything about this stuff. She just was kind of hoping, if I just stick her out in the middle of nowhere, she won't be able to go buy candy.
Right.
And the first night she's at her dad's place, she has horrific nightmares because she can't binge and purge. Wow. And she has this flashback where, or maybe it's a nightmare. It's not very clear if it's something that actually happened to her, or if it's like a dream she's having. And it feels very surreal in a way where you think it has to be a dream, where she's like with a boy who like the dream implies is her boyfriend. And then he sees this like other girl and is just like, I'm leaving this bitch and I'm going to be with this girl now. And then she's like, what do you mean you're going to leave me?
Hey, Kathleen, wait. So, you want to get back together?
Maybe. Convince me.
I've been going with Nicole to make you jealous.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Nicole means nothing to me.
I know. And just when were you planning on telling me?
Now, I guess.
It's kind of also like an odd dream because the other girl is like way heavier than she is. So it's like even like thematically just doesn't make sense if it's like a bulimia nightmare. Like, I don't know. Like all this shit's crazy.
Yeah, why are you jealous of a big boned girl? Come on.
Yeah, it's just very odd.
Come on.
She had like a cheerleader outfit on though.
Yeah, no, she was like this hot pog cheerleader or whatever. Sorry, that goes by like 12. I shouldn't say that. But but like the boy, like the dream boyfriend is leaving her for that cheerleader, and then she wakes up from the nightmare, and then I think she like goes down to the fridge and finds she finds marshmallows in the cupboard and then binges on marshmallows.
It was interesting with I thought they would maybe touch on a little bit the aspect of being in high school affecting your eating disorder in any way at all.
Yeah.
And like they do have that one flashback where she's upset and she's in the bathroom, flashback or dream, we're not sure. And you hear somebody throwing up. So it would seem like you're going to get into that a little bit, but really leaving the ranch left it all behind completely from memory.
Well, it's implied it's summer. It's summer break is what the mom says. So it's kind of a punishment that she has to do her summer with her dad working on the farm. But what's weird about that one flashback is that we kind of set up, if it is a flashback, that this is the first time she started binging, purging, I guess, is in this bathroom. But the way Barbara cuts it is she has the audio of her dreaming overlaying it. So you hear her like tossing and turning as the only audio, and you don't hear like what's actually going on in the scene. So it's like very dissonant and like very scary and like almost like a Lynchian way where you're just like on edge because you're just like all you're hearing is this like heavy breathing.
Yes.
And then this girl just starts like vomiting in a school bathroom.
Wait. No.
Barbara is not afraid to get into the surreal. Like, I think like dreams or visions are sort of like a theme in her work. I guess I'm mostly thinking of the SABER, which
SABER was big time. He was hallucinating. He was so addicted to porn.
He was like he'd watch the porn, and then a lady would come out of the computer and be like, I know you're watching me, or whatever she said.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he goes to the strip club later, she is like the stripper at the club, and he doesn't know her. Like he's not like, oh, I'm so excited to see my favorite like OnlyFans thought or whatever.
I only just made the connection that like that's Computer Hearts, then this one's Castration Movie. So like,
Whoa.
I guess I really am Barbara.
There's like, yeah, you're like one,
soul twin,
Lynchian Mulholland Drive, like woman
Oh
swipe away from being Barbara Sundstrom. But yeah.
Oh God, I'm gonna look in the blue box and wake up at the film ministry.
Yeah, and you're like tongue kissing Barbara Sundstrom or whatever, but like she's you, and like you have a different name or something. I don't know.
I'm kind of into this actually.
I think it's hot. Yeah, but Barbara, yeah, she gets kind of surreal with it, but the problems become pretty real because obviously the bulimia has not stopped, and she has to start getting some medical attention for it.
But before that point, she had her dad, because she wants to go buy candy. Her dad's like, you got to work for it. Right. So he puts her on the task of caring for this horse, where he's like, either you take care of this horse or I'm going to shoot it. And she's like, oh, so what? When people don't do what they want to do, you're just going to shoot them in the back of the head. And I think that's the theme.
Here's the deal. Stormy's got a very bad wound that won't heal. I don't have time to take care of him.
Seems like not having time has always been a problem for you, huh?
Look, I'm running out of patience. Do you want an allowance or not? Now, the only chance Storm has of making it is if his wound is taken care of on a daily basis. The vet says it won't heal, and I need to put him down. But I'm not ready to do that.
That's an interesting concept. He's hurt, so you just shoot him?
You don't understand.
Yeah, I think I do.
I think that at the end, when they talk about taking her to the ranch, they're going to go shoot her in the back of the head. But point is, one of the weirdest aspects of this is we get like a somewhat a montage where we just see the kind of repetition of several days of her taking care of this horse as she's like just berating the horse. Like she's like, you're disgusting, like you're horrible, like you eat this, or like I don't give a shit. And every other shot is her stepping in horse manure. Like every other shot is just her stepping in horse shit. And then her big character growth moment comes when she steps over the horse shit.
Yeah.
And we're just like, oh, she's figuring it out. She's going to be okay.
She was getting gunged for like the first 3 weeks that she worked there.
There's a weird like scatology this because there's also a scene where she like for no reason at all, she like steps into mud and then is like sinking into this deep pool of mud. Yeah. And you're just like there's no like reason contextually for it at all. It's just like
Barbara's a freak.
Yeah, Barbara's a fucking freak.
It was really funny when like the first time she encountered the horse shit, because it was like poop coming out of the horse's ass onto the ground, and she walks up to it and she's like, what is this?
Like, yeah, everything.
Wasn't her dad a rancher when they were married?
Into it.
Grew up riding horses.
Yeah, if you've seen her riding horses.
I guess this is a really scatological movie. I mean, I know that like for the first part of the movie, it's like puke, but still, like there's an overhead shot of her bathroom toilet when she's at her dad's house, which I thought was just kind of odd because it was the only shot that was like placed from the ceiling in the movie. And it's just like, yeah, like I guess.
Well, it's because she's hiding her candy in the toilet.
Right. But it's like, it's just so, the toilet as the site of like, maybe here's my like read of it is like, the toilet, that's where you like flush away, you excrete, sin and pain. And the toilet is like what you use to like make yourself feel better. By washing your sin away, but like we can't really do that. It just puts temporary problem. We need Jesus to like flush our sin for all eternity.
And I mean, like I think that
jiggle the handle too.
A degree to which like bulimia is like bringing you closer to Christ suffering on the cross. Like at the end, like the dad's not even like, oh, we're gonna get you better. It's just like we're gonna pray about it.
Yes, he says we're gonna pray like crazy.
Yeah.
That's his solution.
We're going to do everything we can. We're going to pray about it, and I'm going to send you away.
Now, Nikki, this bulimia thing, we can't lick this thing alone. We're gonna need help.
I know, I just don't know what to do.
Well, first off, we stick close to God's Word, and we pray like crazy. You've got a lot of tough work to do. But there are Christian centers that treat eating disorders. One in particular where you go and stay for a few months.
I can't do that.
Oh, yes, you can. I think you'll do well there. They have horses. Equine therapy, they call it. And family counseling to help your mom and me get through our stuff.
I don't want to go away.
Nikki, what's important is that you get well. I think this is best for you. God never promised us that life would be easy. In fact, he said in this life we would have trouble.
Yeah, and I love that the film ends, like right after the credits, it does have a tag for the website of the real life bulimia ranch you can send your kids to.
Oh, yeah.
The real life.
I think RFK is bringing that back, isn't he?
Can't wait to go.
Well, you're Canadian. You're not allowed.
No, I'm volunteering.
Your ass is not allowed.
You're studying abroad.
She's getting an H-1B visa to work at the bulimia ranch.
So sick.
That'd be sick.
You just have to wait until
work at the
You just have to wait
work at the
until Canada
detransition
becomes
ranch.
the 51st state. Then you can go.
Yeah, no, it's coming.
It could happen.
I was saying like 2 weeks ago, I was like, if the Kickstarter doesn't work out, I'm starting the what I was going to call the Western Annexation Party, which was going to be like a political party for Western Canada to join the U.S. And I knew I probably would have won. Just because, you know, as every right-wing grifter, it starts with a failed artistic career.
Yes, literally.
Right.
You've set the framework.
Yeah, so I think I succeeded because I put that spiritual energy out there. I'm just like, yeah, no, this is happening if this doesn't work out.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh, I did want to say, one of my favorite scenes in the movie was when she does go to the dentist finally, because that's the first like health thing that goes wrong with her, is like she has teeth problems, you know, which happens if you're throwing up a lot. It can wear down at your enamel. It can be pretty bad for your teeth. She has a toothache, goes to the dentist. The dentist clocks what's going on because she's like, she sees the signs. But this is key. She like knows Dusty Marsh very well. It's a small town, I'm sure. And she pulls him aside and says, I think your daughter has bulimia. You know, she has all the signs. And he's just like, what is that? And then she explains it. And he's like, that is so stupid.
And he calls it balloonia.
Balloonia? Ooh, maybe tying it back to the carnival scene.
Wow.
Balloonia.
Yeah, there you go.
Balloonia. Again, doing way more work to create meaning in Barbara's movies than she does.
Yeah. I hope I get balloonia.
Balloonia is when, well, your feet, your nose gets red and your feet get really big. And,
oh, don't turn me on, please.
But like this is important that the dentist tells Dusty about bulimia, because at close to the end of the film, in the climax when Nicole's hospitalized after she passes out on the ranch, there's this knockdown scene between the father and mother where basically like the mom gets made out to be a stupid fucking bitch and Dusty is like a pure Christian savior who like just wants to bring the family together. Like they go to the hospital and the doctor's like, I'm afraid it's bulimia. And Dusty's like, bulimia? Why didn't you tell me? To the mom. And she was like, I don't know. I just didn't know. And he's just like, I didn't even know about this. It's like, wait a second. Yes, you did.
Yeah, you were told. Yeah. And like the dentist knew way too much about the family. She's like, think about it. Why is she spending so much time in the bathroom? Why is she getting all of this candy? And I'm like, do you live at their house?
Yeah.
It's a good dentist. She asked all the right questions.
Yeah, she's so aware of their lives. Like she must be spying.
How much time in the day would you say you spend in the bathroom on an average day? I forgot to ask you that, by the way. I usually ask all of our guests that.
Okay, this is TMI, but probably if I'm at home, like not while I'm traveling, because I can't do this.
Oh, I know it's different.
I would say 6 to 8 hours.
Sure.
I'm not even joking.
Sure. Well, there's a lot to be done in there.
I love to sit in the bathtub and work from the tub. Like I'm
really?
Like, yeah. So like it's crazy. Like my
with the water
roommate
or,
would like
no
in the water.
Oh, in the water.
Oh yeah, in the water.
Wow.
So I'll work in the bathtub. And like there's like, you know, I'll get in the morning and I'll still be in there when like my roommates get home from work. Like I did my 9 to 5 underwater.
That's so crazy.
Awesome.
I love that. That's such a sick idea.
Doesn't your stuff get all wet? Like laptop
no, I have a
and
table.
Notebooks?
I have like a little fold over table
Wow.
that sits on my bathtub.
You ever seen that?
I
Like,
even make my breakfast in there. I got my
like
toaster all set up, my hair dryer.
my hair dryer.
I'm imagining like Gummo, you're eating spaghetti.
Yeah.
I've done all these things. The toaster wasn't there to make toast. It was to kill myself. But unfortunately, my table was too good to really do anything with it.
That classic like early internet photo of like the Russian boy sitting in the pond, like in a suit with a desk and a computer on it. That photo's, you know, been around since like the 2000s or something.
Yeah, it was inspirational.
That's
my
whole
deal.
It's like you writing Castration Movie in the bathtub.
Yeah, well, that's why I have to write so many. Like, I keep trying to write myself back into the bathroom. Like, you look at that movie, so much of it takes place with me in the bathroom. Like one of the first scenes of me is just like taking a shit and then douching.
Yes.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that happen in a bathroom that belong in movies.
Much like Barbara Sundstrom. Barbara Sundstrom understands this. She prioritizes the bathroom.
Which I now I have to eat out of a toilet in the second half, I think.
Do you? Like, is this already planned, or are you thinking this now?
Well, just because Barbara had all the candy in the toilet. So
right.
I'm thinking, I'm thinking I'm going to take some inspiration.
Yeah, a character who has candy in the toilet, and like that would be a great nod to a great filmmaker.
Hiding something in a calendar in the tank.
Yeah,
that's a really good idea.
Yeah,
but I did think that was really funny how this was such a father's rights movie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
you know, I
mean,
the
mom's such a bitch.
Yeah,
true. I mean, yes.
I feel like that's a common trope in her movies, in Barbara's movies. I'm trying to recall.
That's because women hate women, so it makes sense.
I kind of think so. I mean, like in the SABER, like the male lead character is definitely by far like the villain of that film. Like she doesn't, you know, try to like coddle that character, but I was just surprised. Yeah, I guess at how. I mean, just the fact that earlier in the film, the dentist is like, your daughter is bulimic. And she's like, what? And she's like, what? No, she's not.
Bulimia nervosa is characterized as self-perpetuating, self-defeating cycles of binge eating and purging.
I don't understand.
I think Nicole is binge eating large quantities of food and then purging and making herself vomit to rid of it.
That's just stupid. Why would she do that?
My professor said it's not about food, it's about feelings. Nicole's dealt in a lot in her lifetime. Okay, the divorce, moving away, losing you. Bulimia is a coping mechanism. It's a way to rid herself of emotional pain.
Well, I don't buy it. Now, how you came up with coping mechanism from a toothache is beyond me. A cavity's a cavity. You fill it, and you move on. Nicole doesn't have bulimia or whatever you call the crazy thing. I'll settle up my bill on the way out.
And then 10 minutes later, a doctor says, your daughter's bulimic. And he's like, oh, why didn't anyone tell me?
Yeah.
Which the way he finds out finally is because she falls off her horse that she did nurse back to health to ride.
Right.
And then there's a surreal sequence where she saddles up the horse. No thanks to the weird farmhand guy who's jerking off in the shed all day.
Yeah.
Who's like younger than her, but it's like, I don't work for you. I work for your dad. She's like, I am my dad. You're going to saddle this horse for me. And then he has to save a kitten. and he's just like, your dad put me on kitten duty today.
Yeah.
We're like, is this a daily job on a ranch? Is just getting the kitten out of the tree?
Yeah.
So then this like tubby weird butter boy is like holding this tiny kitten, watching this like girl who's like pretending she's like dizzy and dying from leaning his saddle this horse.
Yeah.
And then she like rides it through the woods, and the dad's like, make sure you ride it along the fence. So of course she immediately goes into the woods.
Right.
And I thought she was gonna get lost, like where they have to go find her, but she just like ends up back next to the weird tubby boy and then just falls off the horse. And commending that actress, she falls off that horse for real.
Yeah, she literally does.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. No stunt double.
And then she's just like face planted in the ground, and like the farmhand is just like, I'm gonna go get your dad, and just like leaves her like completely like ass up, face planted in the ground.
Yeah.
And then we find out that she has bulimia, in case we didn't know already from the context clues.
Yes. Hospitalized for bulimia.
Do you think the dad was like, if you don't get that kitten down, I'm just going to have to shoot it? He's doing that every day.
I assumed that the dad puts it up in the tree every morning. So it's just like he puts it up in the tree.
You don't have to get that kitten
gives
down.
him a task to take it down. Really make work jobs on a ranch. The thing is, the mom left the dad because he was so busy working on this ranch. For one, they have no livestock, so it's not even a ranch. He's farming. Like the dad's working on a combine, but there's no suitable farmland. They're not growing anything either. So I don't know what this family's doing. Like I think the mom left because he was just a shitty dirt farmer, and he's like high on his horses, being like, oh yeah, no, like I have to take care. Do you see how many animals I have to take care of? Dude, you have one horse and it broke its leg. Like you're doing a terrible job.
You have one lame horse. And you employ a 15-year-old boy full time, and you just have dirt mostly.
Yeah, and the boy's job is to take kittens out of trees, and then the rest of his time is spent jerking off in the shed. And when she's like, I'm going to tell my dad you're jerking off in the shed, he's like, nah, your dad explicitly tells me I have to come jerk off in the shed.
I have to fill this jar of this much semen every day, or your dad doesn't let me go home. That's what she's really selling. Well, I just want to say it's a good thing Nicole didn't find that kitten first. She would have ate it.
Like the way the guy's holding the way the guy's holding the kitten, like I'm expecting him to like break its neck, and then he's like really aggressively holding its head, and I was just like it was kind of giving me tension because I was like, are we gonna get real animal death?
He had enough mice and men kind of thing going on.
Yeah, he did.
It's the fourth scene of them.
He's my brother.
They had like a litter of 7 kittens. That's like the 4th one.
Like, oh hell, try the next one.
Can you Jimmy, can you please not snap its neck this tape? I'm running out of tape.
Can you please not go behind the eyes, start saying mommy, 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 and then wring the kitten's neck on camera like you did for the last 5 takes? It's getting very difficult to watch.
One of the things that's interesting about this movie is it's not really plot oriented. It's like very functional in terms of just like showing you everyday happenings in these people's lives. Like it is like a social realist film.
Yes.
In that way. It's like this is what it's like to work on a farm, and but not really, because I can't see how the farm's making any money. So maybe like I don't know, like is the church subsidizing the farm? Because like the dad, all he does is read the Bible. So
it's clearly very Christian.
Yeah, because did the mom leave him because he was reading the Bible instead of ranching? Like it's very confusing because she's not religious.
No, and the movie takes a lot of care to show her as like, yeah, the frivolous, like secular woman. When she says she's going to move to the city, Dusty, in the flashback sequence, Dusty says something to her like, well, I don't know what you think you're going to be. You know, the idea that like people who move to the city are like chasing something that they don't even understand.
Yeah, and he's very upset that she's taking the daughter because he wants the daughter to stay so he can keep reading the children's illustrated Bible to her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, until she's like 34 years old.
And like she looks way too like even in the flashbacks, that kid's way too old for the illustrated Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Although she does have like a bit of a slow looking face.
I saw I work at a thrift store, Louise, and I saw the earliest age Bible I've ever seen, like maybe a month ago. It was like for toddlers.
Oh.
It was like 2 sentences per page and like really big illustrations of people smiling.
Start
Everyone's
young.
smiling.
Do you remember that, Scott? Do you remember that
Sodom and
everything is
Gomorrah and everyone's like skipping away?
Do you remember that Everything is Terrible clip that's like teaching babies, like literal babies, about the Bible? Where it's like a woman being like, "This is the Bible," and the baby's just like crying because
yeah.
The baby's like literally too young to comprehend what like objects and names
They're trying
are.
to find the Antichrist.
Yes, yeah, they're trying to just test children out for Antichrist symptoms early on.
Smart.
But yeah, like to bring this thing home, I mean, the movie ends on, I guess, a pretty positive note. I mean, she survives her near-death bulimia experience, and her mom, drives down to the hospital, and her parents are sort of reunited in, concern for their daughter.
The mom fucks off because the dad's like, "You fuck off unless she tells you that you're welcome here," and then they go back to the house, and the thing is, the mom has dropped off a package, and it's been set up earlier, and Barbara, bless her heart, gives us about 15 dissolves to remind us of the scene that we saw. So she shows the scene again in its entirety of the mom having saved all these letters from the garbage. So basically, she's given a choice. Nicole is given a choice. The box is on the bed. She doesn't know what's in the box, but then she's also got the Tootsie Rolls from the toilet. And her dad comes in the room, and she tells her dad to fuck off, and that she's gonna she doesn't know what to do because there's no way to just cure bulimia. As the dad finds out, you can't just stop it.
Sure,
it's a psychological syndrome, as the dentist says to him.
Right.
So she sits there with the Tootsie Rolls, but she's so disgusted with herself, she opts not to eat them and opens the box. And then turns out they're all the dad's like cards that she had sent for all the special occasions. So she starts reading them. And what's amazing about this scene is it's all a oneer. But clearly Barbara didn't know how long the letters would take to be read out by the actor who's doing the voiceover of like the dad's voiceover of reading the Bible verses. So she'll be holding the letter open for far longer than it takes to read any of these letters.
So sick. Yeah, the voiceover like stops and she's still looking at the letter, and then he puts it down. It was so sick. There was lots of really funny mistakes like that in the film. Like early on, there's a scene where someone is walking toward a doorway, but then she like cuts it a little too early, and the person just disappears before they make it all the way to the door.
Yes, no, we rewound it to double watch that, where it's like when she first arrives at her dad's house, they do like a weird like Inland Empire at it. Like it's weird to keep comparing it to Inland Empire, but it is like literally she's halfway out of the scene, and then they just cut to like the same shot, but she's already out of the scene, and it's a really weird, odd. Like you can't do that by accident.
I know.
No, that's a choice.
She's amazing.
Once you take into consideration too that the SABER also came out this same year, 2007, like maybe she really did gain inspiration from Inland Empire.
Yeah, I mean, she is shooting on video. I mean, I mean that it's a big inspiration. But basically she reads all these letters, and then we cut to the dad, who's like once again rereading his Bible, and she like walks down the stairs, and we never commented on the fact that this is like the most Airbnb ass like looking set ever. Like it is just like, it doesn't feel like anywhere that anyone has ever lived outside of like a vacation house. It is so odd.
Ahead of its time.
It feels like ready made for like a vacation house or something, not like an old family farmhouse. But she basically says to her dad, "I want to get better. Will you read me this letter? It's my favorite." And then as he reads it, it brings in this fucking atrocious Christian pop song that just like plays way too loud and overtakes the movie, and then just like goes into the credits as her and her dad are riding horses. So I guess they have 2 horses, actually. He got a second horse. or they're at the bulimia ranch and there's horses there.
I think that's probably what it is.
I lift my eyes to the hills. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. He will not let your foot slip. He who watches over you will not slumber. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. The sun will not harm you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your coming and going, both now and forevermore.
I'm making a journey. The greatest journey of all. My steps may fail, Lord, so please don't let me fall.
Yeah,
there's some sick
that
horses.
Letter was a Valentine, no less, because I noted to our boys Bible study chat that I had forgotten that we should have done a movie for Valentine's Day last week, but it was all tied together.
Right.
Now.
There you go. There's the Valentine's Day movie. There you go.
Literally, like, God is always sending us messages like that. Like, we frequently pick a movie and there's always something where it's like, this was the perfect, we had to have watched this movie this week. Like, it just made total sense.
Every year I ask Jesus to be my Valentine.
And what does he say?
I'm still asking. I'm still asking.
Yeah, I'm still asking. Maybe one day.
Maybe I'll have to detransition first.
Well, something to consider.
Yeah. Don't worry, I am.
We're going to maybe just maybe read some of your dad's Valentines and then just like see where that takes you.
I wish I had some Valentines for my dad, but as I said, I was not molested by him as a child.
Yeah. We're going to send you to the detransition ranch. It's where we send little cowgirls like yourself to become cowboys.
Oh, that'd be so sick. The best conflict in the movie is when because she's, living in California or whatever city she's in, she goes from having flip-flops and her dad's like, you better bring your cowboy boots. And then rather than have a scene of her struggling to walk in the flip-flops, like on the farm, the next scene, she's just wearing the cowboy boots. And, those are the choices Barbara makes where it's like the amount of storytelling I was able to just like infer from that one edit.
Yes.
Like there's a whole scene there that I didn't need to see.
I know she's very thoughtful like that. Like, as I said earlier, she doesn't really hold your hand. Like, she knows that you, the viewer, are smart enough to make a connection between two things that happened, except for the fact that like half the time those connections are from her are very like surreal and like cockamamie anyway.
Well,
so it's
and
like,
the thing
I'm
is,
so
it's
glad
like
she does it.
Like this is the thing about having a powerful, empowered female director is like, a male director would have her wearing the flip flops, stepping in the horse shit,
right,
getting it all over her feet before putting on the cowboy boots,
right,
the close up of the feet.
But Barbara, she's an intellectual. She doesn't need to cater to those perversions.
No,
she's a class act.
The most perverse scene in the movie though is when she's asked, like when Nicole's asking the like farmhand boy to help her saddle the horse, because it's a scene that goes on for 7 minutes and has no point because she ends up saddling it herself.
Yes.
He doesn't really help her. But it just keeps going on as she's just trying to coerce this boy into doing this job for her. And like, there's no point where she's like learning a lesson in it of like, oh, I'm proud of myself for doing it myself or something. Like, it's just filler. And this movie's only like 65 minutes long.
That made the cut. Like, it was really important that we see that. I guess maybe they're kind of setting it up because like he brings her flowers after the hospital. So maybe it's like there's a love interest there or something.
But they look like siblings.
Oh.
Yeah. Ooh, maybe that would be in the sequel. We learn. It was funny when he brought her the flowers, though, and he's like, "I'm glad you're okay. Are you feeling better?" And she's like, "No."
Hey, I'm glad you're home. You doing okay?
No.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot about the other scene where the dad and the farm boy are eating dinner together very romantically at a table, and she comes in and she's covered in shit all over her face.
She really
yeah, like literally covered in shit all over her face. And they're like, "Would you like something to eat?" And for some reason, they're eating their own meal, but then there's just a takeout lasagna on the table next to them.
Yeah.
And then she like eats the lasagna to throw up like during the night, but it's just like, why was the lasagna there? Like it wasn't related to the rest of the food they
knew
were
she
eating.
was a city girl.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
She likes
She
Italian
likes
food.
lasagna.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They only get Garfield out on the ranch. So it's the
We heard this
most
is the food people like to eat in the
cosmopolitan
city.
person they
Yeah.
She is a very Garfieldian figure.
Yeah, I agree. God, imagine bulimic Garfield. That would be so sad.
Oh, that would be sad.
That'd be so sad.
Going to the cat dentist. John Arbuckle being like, Garfield doesn't have bulimia.
Garfield doesn't have bulimia. Look at him.
Yeah.
What any other very important details from In the Mirror Dimly? We've done a pretty thorough job, I think.
Oh yes, no, I like to,
explicating
I like to
it.
really be thorough and
I liked
Yeah, as
when,
analyzing
this
a
movie
movie.
deserves.
I liked when he told her to go to the dentist and she called him Hitler.
Yes, I forgot about that. We had to rewind that
There
one
was a
too.
guy who made you go to the dentist.
Yeah.
Well, for some people, he was.
Well, because the weird thing about it is it seems like the acting's not as clear as it should be. It seems like she's faking the toothache to get out of work, but it turns out she actually does have a toothache. Right. But she does call her dad Hitler for saying, "Hey, get out of bed. I am taking to the dentist."
Shouldn't you be up?
My tooth hurts. I'm taking a sick day without pay, I'm sure.
Oh, let me have a look.
No, it's not that bad.
The toothache needs looking after. Get dressed. We're going to go see the dentist.
I'm not going to the dentist. I'm taking something for the pain and then I'm going back to sleep.
Nope. We're going to town. Get up and get dressed.
What happened to suit yourself?
Doesn't apply.
Hitler.
Excuse me?
Nothing.
Oh, the one thing I forgot to mention is all of the music is like horror stingers. Like it's all like there was one point like I could have sworn they started playing like the Dark Woods Twin Peaks theme. Like it is bizarre because it's like every time food shows up on screen, you just get the horror music starting to go. Yeah, just like my life.
Yeah, for me, it's from the food's perspective. That's what they hear.
Yeah,
when they see me.
I would love like the like a sequel to Sausage Party, but it's like all the food being eaten by bulimic.
Oh my god, bulimic.
That's like the
Bulimic
end of
Sausage
Evangelion is when all the food comes out and it's just one like liquid.
Yeah, the
End of
lasagna
Sausage
instrumentality.
Yeah, you
the
have
lasagna
like
instrumentality project.
Yeah, you have like a pickle and like a Mars bar or something in front of the ocean of vomit. A giant fucking Kit Kat in the background or whatever. I don't know.
It's so gross.
Once again, exactly how I'm going to end Castration Movie.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, In the Mirror Dimly ended up being like a very inspirational piece. Like, I mean, I guess I should have known it would be that way from like, you know, one of my favorite directors of the genre, but still always nice to be genuinely entertained by the movie that we're watching for the week.
Well, and I was
Bible Study.
inspired. Like, I think it's changed the course of my life. Like I'm gonna go and incorporate my film ministry when I get back to Canada.
Yes,
yes,
and I can't wait to
also like
see what scare films I can come up with.
Yes,
I feel like you could get even more like tax breaks too.
Oh yeah,
if you're making movies and you're a ministry.
Yeah,
they'll basically pay you to make a movie.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is going to go really well. I think it's going to be really shocking to people when I released Castration Movie 2, and it's got a very Catholic message.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like castrate your sin.
Castrate your sins.
The false pope is on on death's door right now, so
that's what
now
I
is
hear.
the time to strike.
Pope Francis is suffering pretty serious health problems at an advanced age, and people are wondering if you might pass away.
Well, I've got to get down there for conclave.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, a conclave moment might occur, but we at Boys Bible Study have learned over the past year or two that none of us were Julian was raised Jewish and Scott and I are both Protestant, so we're not really up on Catholicism. You know, Catholicism in certain circles is a bit trendy right now. It was only in the last couple of years that I learned about like the Catholic conspiracy theories about like the Jesuits undermining the like there was the Second Vatican Council, which was like illegal for some reason. So Pope Francis is not a legitimate pope, etc.
This is just dumb American bullshit.
Yeah.
Like as someone who's like Roman Catholic on my dad's side.
Oh, wow.
Hence why he's very proud of not molesting me.
He's like, I walk through hot coals.
Yeah. So, sorry, Dad, if you ever hear this, I love you very much. But yeah, like we don't tolerate that shit. Like if you're actually Catholic, like that's like blasphemous as fuck.
Yes, it's interesting.
Like it's one of the things that pisses me off about like all the people I know who are like in that like newly converted Catholic space who like fall for that shit.
Yes,
because I'm just like I know you're faking because like you wouldn't, if you were actually Catholic, you would not say that shit at all.
No,
like
it's very interesting. It's like obviously we're talking about like a loud minority here. This is not like a majority Catholic view, but it is.
As I
funny.
said, it's American bullshit.
That doesn't surprise me. I never really thought about it, but like, yeah, the idea that there's like these zealous new Catholic converts and their thing is that like they hate the current pope. It's like. Yeah. What is you talking about?
Yeah,
because
they weren't raised
the woke pope.
The woke pope.
They weren't raised with like the shame and guilt.
No,
like with like adult Jewish converts. It's like you think you can just do whatever the fuck when you come in here,
right.
but the truth is,
you
can never
understand.
They not like us. Like
they not like us.
Yeah.
Oh god, I gotta start like Catholic scene beef with Dasha.
Yes.
Everyone thinks me and Dasha are friends for some reason. It's really odd.
Have you spoken yet?
No, I haven't.
You should work with her.
I think it would be great.
You know, I'm a
great
big
idea.
fan. I love her.
Yeah, no, I'd work with her.
Yeah, no, I think it would be a great matchup.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know what you would do, but like, I hope
kill her
in
a movie.
Everybody loves to live so vicariously through like people's online personas. Like they just assume that two people have never met or like friends.
You're on Twitter. You must know Dasha.
Yeah, well, it
must be friends.
I mean, the thing is, like, I'm so closely aligned with like a lot of people. Like, I'm best friends with someone who was in their movie. So
right, yeah, you like you're friends with like Betsy Brown.
Yeah,
and, like Peter. We're big fans here.
It's
on
not
the show.
that big of a reach.
Yeah, which it was really funny because one of my friends recently watched Actors and they were like, yeah, it's just too bad Betsy's associated with this stuff. And Betsy messaged me after and she's like, Louise, you got to keep getting the word out. Like, all I did was act in Dasha's movie. Like, I'm not associated with Dasha. I do not prescribe to Dasha's ideology.
Really?
I just acted in her fucking movie.
That is so funny, actually.
Yeah.
She acted great in Dasha's movie.
She is. She's a great actress. She's very good in Peter's new movie, too.
Which I want to see.
Yeah.
I want to see that so
Cannot
bad.
see it here in Wilmington.
Rook saw it with you probably.
Yeah, we watched it together.
And Rook told me it was like amazing.
Yeah, it's really good.
And if Rook like I pilled Rook on Actors.
Yeah, she never finished it. She didn't like it.
Sure. No, I mean I knew it wasn't like her favorite thing, but she was definitely moved by it.
Yeah, well, that's how me and Rook became friends, was because I had been so on the defense for Actors,
right?
That
which I think
she
is
knew
really
that
cool.
I wasn't like, she knew I was like a based transsexual, not a shitty transsexual.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's cool to hear, and like, but yeah, I'm proud that I mean, Rook and I are always like pilling each other on different stuff, but I'm proud I was able to say like, I think you might like this or find this interesting at least, you know, and she took a chance on it.
Shout out Rook's new album.
Yeah, just like weird edgy movies. Yeah, Rook's new album is fantastic.
Yeah.
Everyone should go stream the fuck out of it.
Unkillable Angel.
But I was gonna say, like, it is really funny with like the modern edgy film scene, because watching Barbara's movie, there was something that felt very fresh and exciting and edgy about it, even though it's from like 2007. And I do think I'm gonna pose a challenge to everyone else who's like in transgressive film spaces. I think we've got to go Christian.
Yes.
I think we got to do some Christian exploitation.
That's so
I think that's got to be the next wave.
Get the word out there.
Yeah, let's get the word out.
We have been... Go on, Scott.
Oh, I think I was going to say what you were going to say, Ash. But when we did do a Christian screening at Los Feliz 3, like, you should have seen the comments.
It's true.
Yeah.
It was like we were just playing a film that promoted Hitler.
No, for real. Like, I mean, you know, listen, obviously everyone's a coward. No one who was hating came to the screening. But, you know, when Los Feliz 3 posted, we're going to watch Let There Be Light, directed by Kevin Sorbo, there were people in the comments saying, like, why would you show, who are these Nazis that are showing this, like, you know, Republican fascist movie? And it's like, I'm sorry that for the first time in your life, you might see a fucking wholesome message on the big screen. Like, they're like the Exorcist. They're literally like reacting to the host. They're like shaking and
that's
screaming.
the thing is like when Jane called me and Betsy and Peter Nazis when we tried to screen Actors in Chicago.
Right.
Like that was 3 years ago. But now like we all screen our work. No one's calling us Nazis anymore.
I know.
But Christian movies. That's where the real Nazi filmmakers have to go.
I kind of think so. No, we at Boys Bible Study, we have just been trying to be like, in our sort of like quiet, dignified way, we've been trying to like lay down the foundation of like, okay, there's a lot of source material out there. I said this to you yesterday, but like one of our big mission statements as a show is to approach these movies not from like an amazing atheist perspective. Not that we as a podcast necessarily
as much as I love like pouring hot oil on my cock, or sticking a banana up my ass.
Sure.
Like it's not the only way to view a film.
Oh, exactly. And I'm happy that you can see that, and we could be on this level about that. But yeah, I just we wanted to like have that body of knowledge, and I would love it if you went from this experience watching the Barbara movie and you took that back into your transgressive film space.
No, I honestly think that we're gonna take a very, very Christian message into part 2 of Castration Movie.
Yes.
You know, it makes me think I should maybe go talk to some of my friends who've maybe detransitioned for religious reasons and see if they might have a place in that message.
Yes. I think that's such a good idea.
Yeah, and this was never planned at any point until right now on this podcast.
I'm very, very excited. Very excited.
Do you think there are people who are like anally bulimic, like they shove things up their ass and then shit them
Karen
out?
Carpenter.
Yeah, she did like enemas, right?
No,
laxatives?
she died from laxatives. So yes, you can be like anally bulimic.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's people who like that's a part of their practice, their bulimia practice. I say it like it's like they're journaling or whatever.
That's got to be worse, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god, it must be horrible.
Like, yeah, oof. I don't want to be like, ugh.
They're a bulimic breatharian.
Like, imagine if in the movie when she grabbed all the marshmallows, she like just stuffed all the marshmallows up her ass. Like that would have been a crazy turn for this movie.
Yeah, she shot
another
like
deleted scene. They tried both ways, and they're like, I think this works better.
Yeah, well,
she shot him out like a cork popping out of a champagne bottle.
When we first put this movie on, I said this is like Superstar, the Karen Carpenter story meets Cyberbully from like 2011.
It's so true.
Yeah,
it's simultaneously that and also like hybrid Inland Empire and The Straight Story.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I wish she had like stolen her dad's tractor and like drove it to buy snacks. like imagine if that was the whole movie was her like trying to go get her rockets.
100-mile journey.
Yeah, she's trying to go get her Smarties at the corner store. Has a picaresque journey.
Well, listen, I think we have given a thorough and fair review of In the Mirror Dimly. Let us confer and offer our final official rating. What is the official Boys Bible Study rating of In the Mirror Dimly? Who would like to go first?
I'd have to give it 1 full puke Tupperware out of 1.
All the way to the top.
All the way overflowing.
Nope. My cup overfloweth.
Overfloweth.
With puke.
Tupperware party. Remember those?
I remember those.
Thing?
Yeah, it was an MLM.
Yeah. I'm going to give it 4 out of 4 Kit Kats. Kit Kat bars.
They taste just as good coming up as they do going down.
There you go.
Wow. I'm gonna one up you from there, Julian. I'm gonna give this $55.73 out of $55.73 worth of candy in 2007. That is a lot of candy. Not even from the store they go to here, like from Walmart or Costco or something. A lot.
That is crazy. That she dropped a band on the candy out there. I love this movie. I mean, it's really hard to top the SABER. Louise, I really recommend you watch the SABER next, because that really is like her magnum opus. But this was not far behind. This was like a magnificent movie. I love the vibe. Gonna have to give this movie 1 out of 1 tiny kitten rescued by 1 out of 1 giant misshapen oaf. Because this movie taught me a lot, inspired me, thrilled me, made me excited to not throw up.
Yeah, it made me excited to go throw up so much more in the second half of my movie.
Yeah. Renewed vigor and purpose
to bring your parents back together.
Someday I'm going to keep trying.
You can't say you've tried everything until you actually have, So.
Yeah,
that's right.
Well,
I would love to plug my film ministry.
Yes, please.
Which is if you want to, if for some reason after listening to me talk for an hour you want to see a movie I made, you can look up louiseward.gumroad.com and find all my work for $1.
Yes,
which is like $1 Canadian, which I think is like 70 cents US.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, there's never been a better time to buy. We will absolutely link the Gumroad in the episode description. So yeah, no, we really encourage our listeners to check it out. I know a lot of folks in the Los Angeles film scene just watched it for the first time this past weekend, and I'm excited that it was a success in our city. It's so nice to have you. And on the Boys Bible Study side of things, we of course would like to, as usual, thank our generous patrons who might have joined us from patreon.com/Boys Bible Study. If you are not yet a member, why don't you go there and subscribe to get access to 5 years worth of bonus episodes. Lots of new content for you if you want Christian movie reviews. Also, special thanks to our patron saints, Nicole, Marissa, Jeff, Rhett, and Mark, and our outro song, which is Oh My God by Mary. From all of us here at Boys Bible Study, myself, Ash, my co-hosts, Scott and Julian, our guest today, Louise Weard.
Praise Jesus.
We would like to say, peace be with you.
And also with you.
Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. I feel your love in me, it's coming from within. Oh my God, my devotion is so unwavering. Divine emotions when you enter me. Every day you take me